If you're like me, then too many games in the industry these days feel hollow and unfinished. Whether it's the endless microtransactions from EA or the failed promises from titles like Anthem and Cyberpunk, it can be difficult to find meaningful and impactful games that leave a lasting impression on you. But sometimes, a game reaches out and touches your heart in ways you didn't expect. This is Kena, Bridge of Spirits. Normally I like to split graphics and story into two separate sections, but with Kena they felt like they were one and the same. Kena Bridge of Spirits is the first game from Emberlab, but they have a history of high quality animation leading up to it. You might remember the fan-made animation from them, Terrible Fate, which brought Majora's Mask to a haunting and beautiful film-like quality. It is no surprise then that Kena Bridge of Spirits is ripe with gorgeous visuals. Their ability to capture powerful emotions and story with subtle animations, sound design, and world building is so immensely captivating. Stylistically, it's kind of like if Disney, Pixar, and Studio Ghibli had an illegitimate love child and it was this game. The characters are well designed and endearing, and the enemies and bosses are fucking cool as hell. If this game is any indication to what these next-gen consoles can do, then I think our future is very bright. Now, in terms of the actual story, the writing does sometimes come off as weak, but that is compensated for a great deal by the way its visuals add to the story. It's something that's hard to describe, and I don't want to spoil too much about this game, so it's something you have to experience for yourself. Mostly I think the problem is Kena can come off as somewhat bored sounding, mostly because she's supposed to be a Zen spirit guide, and truthfully the story doesn't really revolve around her. The other characters are much better voice acted, and their individual stories are so heart-wrenching. I had tears in my eyes many times. Kena quite literally acts as our guide through these other characters' stories. If we do get more of Kena from Emberlab, I hope we can delve deeper into her character. We get some small but powerful glimpses into Kena's past that could be well expanded upon. Visuals go hand in hand with the score for Bridge of Spirits. The music is unique and interesting, taking inspiration from the Balinese ensemble group Gamelan Chudamani, and the way that it swells for emotional and intense moments is breathtaking. I think I've gushed about this enough, so let's talk gameplay. Kena is an action-adventure game that feels like it's pulled inspiration from pre-Breath of the Wild Zelda games. It has a vaguely open-world map. You can explore fairly freely, but it isn't to the level of something like the Elder Scrolls. It's more of a pathed game like Fable or Dragon Age Origins, and each separate area opens up as you complete the story. Normally I would be a lot harder on a game of this length. Altogether, Kena took close to 10 hours to complete, which is rather short, but it was a solid 10 hours. I never found myself bored, and the story wraps up so nicely that it feels like a complete package. I would of course liked it to be longer, but you can only expect so much from an indie studio's first game, and I will take quality over quantity every time. Kena has a combination of platforming, puzzle solving, and combat that you would expect from this kind of game. It doesn't break any ground in these areas, but they're all well executed. I didn't find any of it too repetitive, and the puzzles were largely interesting and fun to solve. Combat is different than I might have expected though, and in a good way. I was expecting some light and easy combat that reflected the charming style the game has, but instead we got something more akin to a Souls-like. I played on the normal difficulty setting for my review, and bosses still did a metric truck ton of damage, and you deal very little. Now, this isn't the meaty slugfest that it might sound like. Each boss encounter has interesting mechanics weaved into them, making each fight feel like a puzzle of its own. They have particular weak spots and vulnerabilities. Figuring out which of your tools best suits a fight is the bulk of the fun. I've heard some complaints about the lack of moves and abilities in the game, but I actually really liked what we were given. You get a few simple abilities, a basic light and heavy attack combo, a bow, a shield or parry, spirit bombs, and some upgraded versions of those attacks thanks to our spirit friends the Rot. It felt like just the right amount to me, and we weren't riddled with pointless percentage upgrades or other filler. Each ability upgrade felt significant. You have most of your tools pretty early on in the game, and the bulk of your progression comes from learning to string them together effectively for the diverse enemies you fight. The main boss fights in this game were some of my favorite in anything I've ever played. Maybe I just had to play some more Souls-likes, but either way I thought they felt great. There is some room for improvement to be sure, but I think Emberlab has set up a very solid foundation for what I hope to be future games. I also think the difficult combat lends to the story. They reflect the harsh realities the characters have faced, and we must struggle to overcome them to find peace. There are a variety of difficulties, the hardest of which is only unlocked after completing the game once, so you are encouraged to do at least 2 playthroughs. Conversely to the combat, exploration is rather tranquil. Exploring areas to uncover lost rot and ridiculous hats to put them in is a nice break between moments of difficulty. The rot are cute as heck. They remind me of the adipose from Doctor Who if you mix them with the soot sprites from Spirited Away. Platforming isn't particularly difficult, but I certainly enjoyed it, and the puzzles were engaging and usually unique. I find myself wanting more at the end of Kena Bridge of Spirits, not because it was lacking, but because I enjoyed it enough to want to play more. It feels good. Despite how much I feel like I've been positive about the game, my rating for it is about a 7.5 out of 10. I can't justify giving it more, mostly due to the length, even though I really want to. Nothing about the game is particularly ahead of its time or unique, but it executes everything very well. The game had little to no glitches or problems. It was an all-around excellent experience. If you're someone that likes games with a compelling narrative and beautiful cutscenes, then I highly recommend picking it up to support this awesome studio. It's even only $50 instead of the normal $80. It's exclusively for PS5 and the Epic Games Store on PC, which isn't ideal, but if you have a PlayStation or don't hate the Epic Games Store, then definitely go for it. I loved my experience with this game and will probably give it a second go soon on the harder difficulty. If you're looking for more reviews and other gaming content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and toll the bell to get notified when new videos go up. Of course, if you didn't like my review, you can always tell me why my opinion is wrong in the comments below. Happy gaming, my friends. Until the next time.